Gen Z are going to the movies. Studies show that younger audiences are driving the box office.
Google invests $75 million in A24 to develop AI filmmaking tools.
And our top 4 favourite films. Tune in to find out why we love them.
These are what we stay alive for.
Thought we were having a nice day.
Are you Steve Jobs? What?
Don't even think about going out, Coraline Jones.
You can't handle the truth.
We're going to steal demo.
Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Nick and Mick on the mic. I'm your co-host, Nick Collins, and I'm joined by my wonderful co-host, Michaela Tabano.
Hello everybody, welcome back to a new episode. We hope you enjoyed the last episode on the Odyssey, big film that we covered. And we're here to talk about our favourite films today, which is good to give you guys a bit more knowledge of our movie taste individually. So you guys should add us on Letterboxd so you can see what we're seeing and when.
Yeah, absolutely. How was your week?
My week was good. I didn't really watch many movies this week. I watched Practical Magic.
Oh yeah,
with my friend
good?
Isabella.
Oh yeah, nice. Shout out to Isabella.
Shout out Isabella. We always watch films. That's like our bonding thing. Like whenever we see each other, we're always watching a movie with snacks. That's our thing.
Yeah. Snacks are important. What's your favourite go-to cinema snack?
Ooh. I usually just stick to the classic, like, Maltesers in the popcorn situation.
Yeah, you introduced me to that, actually.
Yeah, it's so good, because I feel like some people don't like it, because then the Maltesers, like, the popcorn get a bit sticky, but, like...
Right.
If you just eat quick.
Yeah, and then you got, like, melted chocolate, like, hands and fingers.
Yeah, but it's fun, you know? You just gotta eat it quickly, and the Maltesers will be fine. But, usually when I see Isabella, we have, like, Lifesavers. That's... the lollies.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, that's usually
my go-to is usually some sort of drink and a popcorn.
In the cinemas or at home?
No, in the cinemas. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Well, you have yours at the cinemas, right?
Yeah. But what about when you're watching movies from home? What's your snack?
Oh, whatever's going.
Oh, okay.
Really, yeah.
Yeah, Practical Magic was so good. We both loved it. It was really fun. The pacing's a bit funny in that movie, I found.
Okay.
Some parts are a bit fast for no reason.
What's it about?
It's about these two sisters and they're witches, but the whole town hates them because they're witches and they get a lot of hate for it.
Right, yeah.
And then there's like a curse on their family that the husband that they marry, if it's love of their life, they'll like die at a certain point in time, which is kind of dark when you think about it, but it's so good. I loved it.
Okay. There you
what
go.
did you watch?
What did I watch? Well, I caught up on a few films that I've been meaning to see for quite some time now.
Mm-hmm.
The first film was The Drama, Robert Pattinson, Zendaya. We discussed it in episode 1
Yep.
Of one of, the great films of 2026 from A24.
Yes.
And I loved it. It was great. Yeah, it was another film that I'd gone in blind, not knowing anything, and I'm starting to learn that that's the best way for me to go into watching movies.
Especially The Drama, that's, I feel like, the best way to go into it.
Yeah, well, it takes such a left turn, right?
Yeah.
And it happens, like, so soon in the film as well. Mm-hmm. But it was great. It was really good. Nice, tight, small-scale story.
Yes.
Which are the type of films I like. I'm a slice of life type film lover, so I like those movies where you can sort of... imagine that it's happening, next door or something, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Movies about people.
Yeah. Love
Yeah.
it. And what else? Did you see something else?
A movie that's not really about, the realities of life. Very supernatural. Sinners. Caught up on Sinners.
Finally.
Yeah, finally got there. And, I liked it. It was great.
Yeah.
I feel like it was over 2 hours, but it felt like a very quick film.
That's good.
And the end, I think, was slightly rushed. Like, I'm getting to the end of the movie and I'm thinking, wow, they're wrapping it up. But I feel like I've only just started watching this film.
Right.
But overall, interesting story. It was good.
Nice. At least you've finally seen it now.
I know, I can finally say that I've watched Sinners.
Nice.
So, there you go. And apart from that, footy... always fun. Mm-hmm. For those that don't know, play Australian rules football. Just for like a local league. Shout out to the Fitzroy Football Club.
Shout out.
Some of my mates from there listen to the podcast, so
Nice.
there you go.
Big shout out to them.
Yeah. Well, with that down, guys, Michaela, what is our first topic of discussion?
Okay, our first topic comes from Variety, who wrote that Gen Z is now the most active cinema-going demographic, attending more films per year than their elders, according to a new Fandango study. They're also spending more per visit on concessions and on premium format screens like IMAX. By generation, 87% of Gen Zers and 82% of millennials saw at least one movie theatrically in the past 12 months, compared with 70% of Gen Xers and 58% of baby boomers. Here in Australia, our box office has recorded 3 consecutive $100 million months for the very first time ever, with Gen Z leading the resurgence. Rather than staying home, younger audiences are embracing cinemas as a social third space, a place to disconnect from endless scrolling and experience films together. Nick, what do you think about this?
Well, overall, I think this is amazing, not only for the Australian box office, but also the global box office. I mean, cinemas post-COVID have been really struggling to get people to get into the cinema, get butts on seats. So, you know, to be able to have, you know, a few films that have really drawn in, you know, a wide demographic, and particularly the Gen Z audience, is like, yeah, it's a success story for Hollywood.
I think also the presence of young directors is really inspiring the younger audience to want to go and see those movies. I feel like there's a lot of support both online and obviously in the statistics you can see in the box office. People are keen to actually go and support these kind of films, which is exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. And you got platforms like Letterboxd, which is one that we use frequently. And it's a great app. It's a great way to you know, be with your film community. And for me, I see it as a challenge. It's like, oh, how many movies can I watch this year?
Yeah.
How many, you know, movies can I, like, you know, review and rate? And I think having like an activity like that, so you go to a cinema, you go watch a film, and then you get to rate it and you get to review it and share that with your community. I think that's like just a fun activity that sort of draws, you know, more people to go see films.
Yeah, it's very fun, and it creates a fun place to share your thoughts about a movie and have it be seen by anyone.
Absolutely. And like, if you've got a great community with, you know, a wide range of films that they like, you know, you might see someone's review and go, oh, I might go check that out. You know, we've seen that a lot of movies recently, like you look at Obsession, a lot of it was word of mouth.
Yeah.
that has drawn in that massive box office too. I think also like the cinema experience, it's a shared experience, right? So you can go as a family. A lot of families can come together and just enjoy like a family night out at the cinemas and watch a film. Another one, it's a great date idea. I think that it is the best first date.
Do you think so? I feel like most people would say no because you don't get to speak to the person.
So this is how I see it.
Yes.
Going to the cinema is a great first date activity, and that is because you go and see the movie first, and then you go out for your lunch, you go out for your dinner, and you talk. And if the date's not going well, you can just go back to talking about the movie, because it's a movie. It's something that you've both seen together and something you can relate to, right? So even if it's not going that well, at least you've got something to, you know, draw back on.
Yeah.
Which is great.
And then if they completely disagree with your take on the movie, you might decide that's a red flag.
Yeah,
You've got to get out of there.
That's it. And not talking from experience,
No.
but just, you know... Hypothetically, yeah, exactly. It's also like a weird concept, you know, we all go into a room and watch a movie with strangers, yet we're all feeling something together.
Yeah.
Like, that is just like a weird sort of concept to me, that we're all like moved by something that we're watching on screen with all these people that we don't know.
Yeah.
You know, with different like religious views, political views, like everyone's obviously different, but yet we're all there watching something together. I think that's like a beautiful way to look at it.
Yeah, cinema brings people together. It's great.
Yeah. And the other thing is like retrospective events. So like I know that my local and favourite cinema the Lido Cinema down in Glenferrie Hawthorne is terrific cinema. If you ever want to go see a movie, definitely check it out. Great venue. But they do a lot of retrospective events, like a lot of other independent cinemas, and recently they did a Christopher Nolan retrospective. So I finally got the chance to see Memento.
Nice.
And I got to see The Dark Knight on the big screen for the first time. And I think those events are really good because people can go and see a movie that they might have not had the chance to see when it was released. I know, like, obviously I would have loved to see, you know, the Jurassic Park on the big screen, or maybe like The Wizard of Oz on the big screen, because obviously we weren't around when those films released in theatres. But to have that experience in a theatre, seeing it on a big screen, I think that's another, you know, reason why it draws our younger generation to see some of those old cult classic films too.
Yeah, it also turns it into more of an event, something to do with friends, and our generation, I think we like to go out and do things, and cinema's become one of those things. It's more like an outing now than just, oh, I want to see that film. It's more like, who am I going to go with? What am I going to see? What am I going to eat? It's like a whole thing.
Yeah, and I think like we've grown up in the world of, you know, and the influence of social media, going to the cinema and actually sitting next to someone as opposed to just messaging them online.
Right.
It's a, you know, just breaks up like with a different experience that's not just like fully, you know, just like online platforms.
Yeah, it also forces people to pay attention, because if you watch a movie at home, there's a lot of distractions. Most people go on their phones during the movie. In a cinema, you can't. Well, I mean, you can, but you have less of an opportunity to do that. So it kind of forces your attention, which I think is good. Yeah,
and I think the more I go to the cinemas, the more I realise how important it is for myself to go and see these movies on a big screen, because I get quite distracted with what's around me when I watch a film at home, and also on a smaller screen. So to be able to see these movies on a big screen, in a dark room with surround sound, it just has more of an impact on my viewing experience as well.
Yeah. See, I feel like I'm the opposite at home. I'm like, everyone must pay attention.
You're locked in.
I get really mad if my sister or my mum or anyone goes on their phone. I'm like, watch the movie.
Right,
I'm like, you really got to lock in. I turn all the lights off. Like, we're watching the movie. I treat it like a cinema.
See, that's interesting. I don't know. Let us know in the comments below. But when I watch a movie at home, the lights are on.
What?
Yeah, I just have. They're just on.
Why are the lights on?
Well, if I'm watching at night, the lights are on. If I'm watching during the day, well, there's no lights on, but there's natural light coming into the room.
You don't see glare on the TV?
There's only one film in my lifetime that I've had an issue with glare on the TV, and that is Batman Begins. No, Batman Returns.
Doesn't even know.
That film is actually way too dark, and I'm not talking about the themes in the film. I'm talking about the actual lighting of the film.
Yeah, look. That's crazy that you have the lights on. I didn't know that. That's scary.
Yeah.
I always have the lights off.
Wow.
Like, the least amount of light, the better.
Yeah.
So it's like a cinema.
Yeah.
You should try it.
Maybe I'll have a different... Maybe, you know what? Maybe that's the issue, because obviously I'm not a big fan of the Dune series, but I did watch both of those films during the day with natural light coming into the...
So...
the way the director intended.
You need to redo that experience. That's crazy. Please let us know in the comments. Please back me up.
I'm crazy.
Everyone, tell Nick he's crazy and he needs to sort that out.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
There you go. All right, well, with that down, let's get into our second topic of today.
Yes, our second topic comes from Variety. A24 and Google have struck an AI research partnership that will see the independent studio work with Google's DeepMind unit to develop new AI-powered technologies for filmmakers. The partnership will give A24 access to DeepMind's research and infrastructure, while DeepMind researchers will work with the studio to build out new workflows. The deal represents the latest marriage between a Hollywood studio and AI in a new era where companies have swung between partnerships and lawsuits.
Okay, well, this is a very interesting topic. It's very relevant to what's going on at the moment in the film business, or the film industry, I should say. Michaela, what are your thoughts on this?
This deal, I don't really love AI. I think in terms of it being used in processes to speed up a process and make it simpler and easier for something to get done, it can be beneficial. But I fear that this deal, they might take it further, and AI could become more of an input in A24 films, which I feel like I don't think people would like that, because A24 is, I guess, kind of known for their creative process and the fact that they're
very proud of being an independent creative studio, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like if they go too far with it and then they start off with just like AI helping with like storyboards, and it becomes like it's doing more things, I feel like people are gonna lose a bit of respect for A24.
I did see that they wrote in the article that doesn't mean Google has the rights now to A24's intellectual property.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm all for AI as well if it's used for helping, being used as a tool to help enhance the pre-production process. But I'm not for the post-production where it sort of influences the film itself. I'm not for complete AI made movies. I think The Odyssey shows how important it is to be able to film on location in real locations with real people. I'm also not for the deep fakes, if you will, using an actor's likeness.
Yeah, I don't like that.
For films, I think acting is such a human process, a human sort of art form. And you have to have a certain talent to be able to do that, and it's something AI can't replicate and never will be able to replicate. But in saying that, let's just go into the history of Hollywood. Since the dawn of time, people have always feared the unknown, and I think that's what we're going through at the moment in Hollywood. People are fearing what AI will be capable of doing. But history says it always usually turns out to be completely fine. If you have a look at the days when everything was shot on film, the shift from celluloid to digital pixels was driven by the cost of convenience and completely reshaping how movies were shot on the digital format. So George Lucas was at the forefront of this change. He worked with Sony to build the Sony HDW 5900, which is like a particular camera. And he used this technology to film Star Wars Attack of the Clones, which was the first major blockbuster shot entirely on digital. And 90% of films today are shot on digital. Now and then we have films that are shot on film, which I think is great. I prefer the film format to digital, but just goes to show that whilst people once rejected new technologies, now it's just become sort of an industry standard. Even with the introduction of CGI in the early 1990s to 2000s, major filmmakers initially rejected CGI. Filmmakers feared it would kill jobs of those practical effect artists, animators, model makers, and Hollywood finally embraced CGI. A lot of those big action blockbusters are now heavily computer generated. Even a lot of small scale projects use CGI now to build simple things like a bit of grass on a nature strip, or they'll build half a street and then construct the rest using CGI.
I think they just need to be careful how far they go with it, because people will...
With CGI?
Not CGI, sorry, I meant the AI stuff, the AI tools that A24 is using, but I guess we'll see.
But and when you tune into this podcast, you're not always going to agree with us. Sometimes we're not always going to agree either, but that's what makes it such an interesting and important discussion to have. So personally, I think this deal is good from the point of view that it brings the gap between major Hollywood studios and the smaller studios like A24 closer together. For years, it's been, those smaller studios up against Warner Brothers, Disney, and, they're always, making a lot of money. They've got access to a lot of money. Whereas those small studios, whilst they have excellent films, just aren't getting seen by people because they just don't have those big budgets. So for A24 to be able to sign a deal like this, I think it helps them sort of be up against those major studios as well. But as long as it doesn't obviously interfere with the final product, I'm all for this.
Yeah, I think as long as it doesn't, I guess, go too far, because I know that people will complain about it because of A24's reputation so far being so focused on creative independence and all that. I don't know. I guess we'll have to see.
So let's get into our top 4 films ever. So it's actually funny because in episode 1, I had a particular top 4, and then after seeing The Dark Knight for the first time ever on a big screen in a theatre, in a packed theatre, mind you, my top 4 changed and I had to put The Dark Knight in. But we'll get to that in a minute. So I don't really have an order for my films. I just sort of I've just got a top 4, but I can't really rank them. They're all just great. But for the purpose of the podcast, I'm going to start off by talking about Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. This is an excellent comedy, and I believe it's one of the best comedies because it's got that rewatchability, which a lot of modern day comedies certainly don't do, because the jokes are funny once, and then because you're not expecting it, and then rewatching a film, you're like, I know what the joke's gonna be. But this film, it's just the way that Steve Martin, John Candy just deliver the humor in the film, and it's not as well as it being a comedy, it's also just a heartwarming family film. You can watch it any time of the year. It's set at Thanksgiving, but it's got this nice combination of when to laugh and when to cry. And it's just, it's quite a moving film. It's got that emotional elements, and I love it. It's amazing.
I haven't seen that film, so I'm going to have to add that to my watch list to see what I think of it. But my first favourite film is Little Women, the 2019 version by Greta Gerwig. I think that movie is perfection. I think for me, it's my favourite film because my sister and I relate to it a lot. And I think it's one of the few films that depicts sisterhood very accurately and really well. I think there's not a lot of movies that I've seen where that relationship is depicted. Little Women is set in the 1860s during the American Civil War, and it's based on the book by Louisa May Alcott. And it's just about these 4 sisters and their life growing up and their close bond with each other. And I think a lot of people love this film because each of the characters are very unique and they each have their own interests, and I think people can see themselves within those characters. And I know that's true for my sister and I. When we watch it, we always relate to it and relate to specific characters, and I think that just heightens the experience for us. When I watch it, I really relate to the character of Jo a lot, so I see myself in her when I watch it. And it was a film that we loved when we saw it in cinemas. We went twice to see it because we loved it so much. And I think they just nailed everything about it. The score is really beautiful. I have it on vinyl. My sister bought that for me. It's such a pretty score. The cinematography is amazing as well. And it's like another really great cast. They've got Saoirse Ronan, they've got Emma Watson, they've got Florence Pugh, Meryl Streep, Timothy Chalamet, Eliza Scanlon. They've got so many people in it that just make it perfect. Obviously, all of them ace their roles. And I feel like, I don't know if it's like a movie everybody would enjoy. I think it's more catered to people with sisters. But I still think it's a beautiful film that everybody should see. They did a really good job of showing, because there's two timelines going on. There's like the adult timeline and the childhood timeline. And they presented it really well in terms of highlighting the themes of like coming of age and how your adulthood can sometimes be a bit of a wake-up call to your childhood. And their childhood is presented in a really loving way, and they all really get along and they play games. And that was how my childhood was with my sister, which I'm very lucky enough to even be able to say and relate to. And then going into adulthood, there are so many changes that happen in life for everybody. And I think that this film does a great job of showing that. It includes some tragedy, it includes like romance and dramas with that. I think it just touches on every aspect of that transition really well, and it shows that in the film.
Next up, we'll talk about The Dark Knight. So, The Dark Knight came out when I was about 7 or 6. Now, I did that the other way around because I didn't want to pull any cringy puns. But when that movie came out, there was so much hype around it, especially as a young child, you know, being, you know, a big fan of Batman. I was like, I've got to see this. But, you know, because, you know, it's got mature themes and stuff, like I wasn't allowed to see it at the time in the cinema. But I believe it's like just an excellent film. It's such a complete story. It just flows well. It's got great rewatchability as well with the film. It's more than just a superhero movie about, you know, good guys and bad guys. It's got such a grounded, sort of interesting elements in the movie as well. Heath Ledger, his performance is iconic as the Joker. Christian Bale, it's just, you know, an iconic Batman. It was just a great movie, and it was out of my top 4 until I went to the Lido. Shout out the Lido. And I went and saw the movie on the big screen for the first time, and the movie reminded me why I loved the film so much. And so I had to put it back in the top 4. It's also the movie that got me into watching films. There's just something about it. I still remember, like, you know, the time and whatnot, the era of 2008, you know, peak life.
My second favourite film is Dead Poets Society, 1989, directed by Peter Weir, and I love it for so many reasons. This one I watched it during COVID, like 2020 or 2021, and I'd heard so much about it and just never got around to watching it until that time. And then when I did, I was like, oh my God. It was one of those movies where I was like, my life is changed. It's just, I love the deeper meanings within that film, and I think it's so inspiring. And Robin Williams is my favourite actor of all time, and he plays Professor Keating, who has gone to teach literature and poetry at this preparatory school where it's like preparing young boys for college. And all these boys come from like wealthy families and their parents want them to go on to have successful careers like doctors or teachers or lawyers. And there's a lot of societal pressure on these boys to excel and get these roles. And Mr. Keating comes in and he teaches them to be free thinkers, and he inspires them to defy what everyone's been telling them to do their whole lives. And he really inspires them to just have more fun in life and aspire to have more for themselves than what they've been told to want. You've got Robert Sean Leonard as Neil, Josh Charles as Knox, you've got Gail Henson as Charlie. I think every character is so unique, and when they come together it really feels authentic on the screen. Like they have like behind the scenes footage of the actors like just going around New York City bonding, and I feel like their relationship on the screen is translated so well, and you just feel like you want to be a part of their group because they're so inspired by what they're learning. And it is a bit of a sad movie. There's some tragedy in it, but I think it's so good, and I think it's a film for everybody. Like I think everybody would love to see it, and yeah, I think it's perfect.
So Despicable Me is a movie written and directed for kids, released for kids. I, at the time of its release, was a child. But this movie has always stuck with me. And, you know, haters are going to hate. Sometimes being right is lonely. But this movie is awesome. The movie is so much more than just, you know, another Illumination animation children's film. This movie is about a sinister villain who is reminded about the good in people by the 3 children that he adopts. And I think it says something, I think it says a lot about, like, you know, the young innocence of children and how they can remind us of good, even in today's world. Yeah, and then for comedic relief, you add the Minions, which is great. But I don't know, like I said in episode 1 when we were discussing the Despicable Me franchise, a lot of it is like the nostalgia of it. But yeah, it's an excellent film, and it still holds up to this day, really.
I wanted to stay quiet throughout your description of your love for the Despicable Me movie because I just wanted you to have your moment.
Oh, wow.
But I love that you brought them up again. You and the Minions. It's great. I really think that people have got a real accurate snapshot of you. You and your movie taste. On to my third favourite film, which is actually one that came out last year, Train Dreams, directed by Clint Bentley.
I haven't watched it yet. It was Netflix production?
Yes, Netflix, and it was nominated for Best Picture last year.
Yeah, awesome.
I love this film so much. It's a bit more of a bit of a quiet, slow film. I think you need to be a bit patient with it. There's not much action that's happening throughout the whole film, but especially in the beginning, it's very, very slow and it takes a while to get into it. But it's a really beautiful story, and it's about Robert, played by Joel Edgerton, and his quiet little life as a logger. He cuts down trees for timber and wood, and he goes around with, he meets different workers along the way that he forms connections with, and it's a sad film again. I don't know why my top 3 films are kind of sad. Yeah, I like sad movies. Sad movies, I think, are usually really, really good stories. And yeah, so it's about his life as he's working, and he works really hard to raise enough money for his family, and they just live in a little cabin by the lake, and he ends up in a spot kind of in the middle of the movie where he's quite alone, and he has to learn how to deal with that. And it's set in like the early 20th century in America, and it's kind of hard to explain. It doesn't sound as intriguing like the plot itself, but I think it has a lot of really great deeper meanings about life and appreciating life and how fleeting it is, and the fact that we're all like finite. And yeah, I think it's a beautiful film that everyone should see, and the score by Bryce Dessner is really beautiful as well.
Last film in the top 4 for me is Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. Now, whilst I love the first film, which is right behind us on the set, Rise of the Planet of the Apes, this second film just took everything that was so good about the first movie and just brought it to another level. You know, the villain Cobra was such a treat to see on screen. That scene, and everyone talks about it, that scene where he plays dumb with those two soldiers, if you will, and then, just pretends that, he's just another dumb ape, and then he grabs the gun and he shoots both of them. And I remember watching that for the first time and going, wow, this is an incredible movie. The fact that you can make me feel scared about a monkey, hats off to Matt Reeves, because it was, really well done.
My fourth favourite film is not a sad one. It's a fun one. It's Footloose, but the 2011 version, directed by Craig Brewer.
Wow, the remake of Footloose.
The 2011 one's just great. You've got Julianne Hough, you've got Kenny Wormald in it. I just think that they killed it. It's so fun. You got Miles Teller in it as well as Willard. It's so fun. I love the music. I love the dances. It's got some romance in there. It's got friendship in there. It's so much fun. I think every time my sister and I watch it, we love it. We can recite it word for word.
Well, guys, that'll do us for another episode of Nick and Mick on the mic. Be sure to follow us on YouTube and Spotify for the latest episodes. And for some exclusive content, you can follow us on Instagram or TikTok.
Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week for Spider-Man Brand New Day.
Thank you for tuning into the Nick and Mick on the Mic podcast.
Subscribe and follow us on YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, and TikTok so you never miss out on the latest movie talk.
The podcast is written and produced by the hosts Nick Collins and Michaela Tabano.
Music used in the podcast is Intro by FAS Sound. The podcast may contain content that is not owned by the Nick and Mick on the Mic podcast. All rights go to their respective owners.
We'll be back next Monday, and be sure to go to the cinemas.